What if there are moments in life where everything changes, but only for a few seconds? Why do some experiences feel so powerful, yet so temporary? And what if the purpose of those moments isn't to stay, but to prepare you for what's next? There are times when life feels ordinary, predictable. You move through your routine, handling responsibilities, facing challenges, making decisions. Nothing feels extraordinary. Nothing stands out as completely different. And then, unexpectedly, something shifts. Not gradually, not over time, but suddenly. A moment appears that feels unlike anything else. Clear, intense, almost overwhelming in its significance. It doesn't last long, but while it's there, everything feels different. Perspective changes, understanding deepens, and for a brief moment, you see things in a way you've never seen before. Imagine being taken out of your normal environment and brought somewhere higher, away from distractions, away from noise, away from everything familiar. Not by your own decision, but led there. This is important, because sometimes the most important moments in life are not the ones we plan, but the ones we are brought into. And in that space, something begins to unfold. At first, it may not seem different, just a change in location, a shift in surroundings. But then something happens that cannot be explained through normal experience. The ordinary becomes extraordinary. What was familiar now appears transformed. And suddenly there is a level of clarity, of awareness, of presence that feels far beyond everyday life. This is not just a visual change, it is a revelation. A glimpse into something deeper, something greater. And in that moment, everything else fades. Concerns, questions, doubts, they become less important. Because what is being experienced now is so powerful, so real, that it overshadows everything else. This is what people often long for. Moments of certainty. Moments where everything feels clear, where confusion disappears, where understanding feels complete. But here's the challenge. Those moments don't always last. They are temporary. And when they pass, life returns to normal. The same responsibilities, the same challenges, the same uncertainties. And this creates tension. Because once you've experienced something extraordinary, it can be difficult to go back to ordinary life. You begin to wish you could stay in that moment, hold on to it, extend it. But that's not how it works. Because the purpose of that moment is not to become your permanent reality. It is to prepare you for it. There is something significant about the reaction in that moment, a desire to hold on, to capture the experience, to make it stay. This is natural. When something feels meaningful, you don't want it to end. You want to build around it, preserve it. But sometimes holding on to the moment can cause you to miss its purpose, because the value is not in staying there, it is in what you take from it, what you understand, what you carry forward. And this is where the deeper lesson begins, because after the moment passes, questions arise. What did this mean? Why did this happen? What am I supposed to do with this? And these questions matter, because without reflection, the experience can fade without impact. But with reflection, it becomes something more, a reference point, a reminder, a source of strength for what comes next. There is also something important about who is present in that moment. Not everyone sees it, not everyone experiences it, only a few. This shows that not every experience is meant for everyone. Some moments are personal, specific, tailored for a particular purpose, and that purpose may not be fully understood immediately. It may take time. It may require going through other situations before its meaning becomes clear, but that does not reduce its value, it increases it, because it becomes something you return to, something you remember when things become difficult, something that anchors you when everything else feels uncertain. There is also a voice in that moment, a direction, a focus, not on the experience itself, but on what matters most. This is important, because it shifts attention away from the event to the message, away from the moment to its meaning. And this helps prevent distraction, because it's easy to become focused on the experience, on how it felt, on how powerful it was. But the real value is in what it reveals, what it points to, what it calls you to do next. And then just as suddenly as it appeared, it ends. The extraordinary fades, the environment returns to normal, and you are left with a choice. Do you move forward as if nothing happened, or do you carry something with you? This is where transformation happens, not in the moment itself, but in what follows, in how you live after it, in how it shapes your perspective, your decisions, your responses. Because the moment may be temporary, but its impact can be lasting. There is also something significant about the transition back. It is not dramatic, not filled with the same intensity. It is quiet, gradual. And this reflects how life often works. The most powerful moments are not always sustained, but they leave an imprint, a mark that influences everything that comes after. And this is where understanding grows. Because now you have seen something beyond your normal experience. You have been exposed to a deeper reality, and that changes how you interpret everything else. Challenges may still come, difficulties may still arise, but now you see them differently. Not as final, not as overwhelming, but as part of a larger picture. Because you know there is more than what is visible, more than what is immediate, more than what is temporary. This creates stability, not because circumstances change, but because perspective does. And perspective is powerful. It shapes how you think, how you feel, how you act. So when perspective shifts, everything else begins to shift as well. There is also a lesson here about timing. The moment happens at a specific time, not earlier, not later, exactly when it is needed. And this shows that not every experience comes when you expect it. Some come when you are ready, when you need it most, even if you don't realize it at the time. And this requires trust. To believe that what you experience and when you experience it has purpose, even if that purpose is not immediately clear. There is also a deeper question beneath all of this. What do you do with the moments that change you? Do you ignore them, forget them, or do you allow them to shape you? Because everyone experiences moments of clarity, moments where something becomes clear, where understanding deepens, where perspective shifts. But not everyone carries those moments forward. Some let them fade, some move on without applying what they learned, and as a result, the impact is lost. But when you hold on to the meaning, not the moment, but the meaning, it becomes part of you. It influences your choices, your mindset, your direction. And over time, it creates change. Not sudden, not dramatic, but steady, consistent, real. So the question becomes personal. Have you experienced a moment that changed how you see things? A moment of clarity, of understanding? And if you have, what did you do with it? Did you hold on to it, reflect on it, apply it, or did you move on too quickly? Because those moments matter. They are not random. They are not without purpose. They are invitations to see more, to understand more, to become more, but only if you respond to them. Only if you allow them to shape what comes next. So don't chase the moment. Don't try to recreate it. Instead, carry its meaning forward. Let it guide you. Let it strengthen you. Let it remind you that there is more than what you see every day. And when challenges come, because they will, you will not face them the same way. Because you have seen something greater, and that changes everything. Thank you for watching this video. If this message spoke to you, don't forget to like, follow the channel, and share it with someone who needs encouragement today. Your support helps spread this message of clarity and purpose to more people. And be sure to watch the full video to go deeper into this powerful perspective.